Welcome to day 7 of reading through our inspirational book titled Power Thoughts by Joyce Meyer. Happy listening. We'll continue from where we stopped yesterday. The most common type of negativism that draws negative responses from others is what I called the flat world attitude. This happens when a statement is not true, but people believe it based on hearsay, past experience, or what is considered common knowledge. Let me explain. Christopher Columbus believed the world was round. Therefore, he reasoned if he set sail, he would eventually reach land previously undiscovered territory or end up back where he started. The people around Columbus thought the world was flat. So when scholars and experts examined his plans, they said his idea was impossible. Because they believed the world was flat, they assumed he would surely sail off the edge and disappear. But Columbus was right. He didn't fall off the edge of the world, but proved it was round and ended up discovering America in 1492. During the early 1900s, an impressive array of scientific wizards scoffed at the idea of an airplane. They said it is an opium-induced fantasy, a crackpot idea. Really? Orville and Wilbur Wright didn't think so, and have gone down in history as the first in flight. With similar skepticism towards airplane, Marshal Ferdinand Foch said in 1911, airplanes are interesting toys, but they have no military value. Foch later became Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces during World War I. Though airplanes were not widely used in the early days of the war, they became increasingly important, and Foch and others discovered that they were valuable after all. Thomas Edison tried to persuade Henry Ford to abandon his fledgling idea on a motor car because he was convinced that it would never work. He said, "Come and work for me and do something really worthwhile." Although Edison was a great inventor, it sounds as if he was only positive about what he could do and rather pessimistic about other people's ideas. Next time you get in a car to go somewhere, be glad Ford didn't allow Edison's negative outlook on automobiles to influence him. Wow. Let this example remind you never to let a pessimistic person talk you out of your dreams. All these people and thousands of others throughout history had a flat world mentality. They were convinced certain things could not be done, even though no one had ever tried. I am sure Christopher Columbus, the Wright brothers, and Henry Ford had to be determined to maintain their positive can-do attitudes. Even though they were surrounded with negativity, they stayed positive and eventually found success. I wonder how much they might have accomplished had they simply been surrounded with positive encouragements rather than ridicule. There is no telling. Don't let someone else's limited thinking limit you. Negativity can be contagious. You have to pay attention if you don't want to catch it. Even if you are the only positive person in your family, your social circle, or your work group, be the one with an optimistic attitude and outlook in every situation. Remember, negative attitudes produce negative responses, while positive attitudes produce positive responses. In the story about Joshua and Caleb, this was certainly true. After the 10 spies gave their negative reports. The Israelites wept all night and became terribly discouraged. See Numbers chapter 14, verse 1 for that. Those 10 men and their bad attitudes caused an entire nation to lose heart and doubt God's promises. Then the Israelites became so negative that they wanted to stone Joshua and Caleb, who were positive. See Numbers chapter 14, verse 10 for that. Similarly, the enemy, often walking through other people, likes to silence people with faith-filled can-do attitudes. Don't let anyone silence you. Learn to get positive and stay positive every way. A soldier was assigned to stand at the end of a show line and offer apricots to everyone who passed through the line. He decided to test the theory that the way people ask questions impacts on the answers they receive. To the first 100 men who came by him, he said, "You don't want any apricots, do you?" 90% of them said no. To the next 100 men, he said, "Would you like some apricots?" 50% said yes, 50% said no. He changed his strategy slightly for the next 100 men, asking them, "Would you like 1 serving of apricots or 2?" 40% took 2 servings, 50% took 1. He saw a complete turnaround in the percentage of men who took apricots. Take a lesson from the soldier. Learn to be aware of the way you think and the way you talk to people. Train your mind to think positively towards every situation and train your tongue to speak positively to everyone you meet. Think about it. Can you remember an occasion when your negative attitude provoked a negative response? How could you have been more positive in that situation? Positive thinking keeps things in perspective. As I said in chapter 1, thinking positively helps us keep things in perspective. When we think positively, we avoid making mountain hills out of molehills. Negative thinking tends to blow things out of proportion, viewing them as larger and more difficult than they really are. People who think negatively magnify the unpleasant and undesirable aspects of a situation while failing to see anything good in it. I believe every person's life and even his circumstance includes more right than wrong and more good than bad if he simply determines to think positively about it and look for the good elements in it. You see, I still believe that God is bigger than the devil. Wow. Think about it. Have you made a mountain out of a molehill lately? Is there something in your life that you are blowing out of proportion